So welcome to the pollinator session, Canva basics, and I'm gonna show you other little tips and tricks that maybe are a little outside of basics, but I wanna lay a foundation. I don't know where everyone's at with their Canva skills. And so I wanted to, lay that foundation and then build a little fun things on top of it. So my name's Christina Curry, for those who don't know me, and I am the founder and CEO of Sprout Creative. We work with busy entrepreneurs who are running their business. They don't have time for marketing. They're feeling overwhelmed by it. Maybe their growth has plateaued. And we really turn their marketing into a more automated marketing machine so they can kind of get back to what they do best and not worry about marketing so much. So Canva, what is it? Maybe you guys all know what it is, but it's a graphic design platform. It's used to create all kinds of visual content, social media graphics, presentations, posters, business cards, pamphlets, everything. The app is templated based, and that makes it really user friendly, especially for people who don't have a graphic design background, which is probably most of the people that use Canva. It is free. There are a few different levels of subscription. So I'm going to cover what it is to be in Canva Pro. I highly recommend investing in Canva. I think it's like $12.99 a month or something for Canva Pro. And it is unbelievably worth it. I realized when I was doing the free version, there was a lot of features that weren't accessible to me and a lot of features that would make my life easier, and I just kind of ran into, oh, this is frustrating, or I can't do this, I can't use that image, I can't use this font. And because of that frustration, I would just kind of quit, or when you hit a technical difficulty, you're just like, oh, I can't do this anymore, and you move on to something easier. So as soon as I bought the Canva Pro, it just unlocked so much more features for me that it actually made it fun to create all the things I needed to create within Canva. So I highly recommend putting it back into your business. It's a tax write-off. Who doesn't like that? So why Canva? It is so user-friendly. It provides a very huge creative freedom aspect with all their photo options and element options and colors and fonts and everything that they have. And you're able to create all types of marketing content that can save you time, it can save you therefore money, and it can really make your brand and your message and the way you communicate visually such a cohesive, nice looking kind of image. So I always like to talk about the marketing funnel. I can't help it. Anything you do, anything I do, I concentrate on the marketing funnel, which is really the route, the stages that you're bringing your client from finding out who you are all the way down to a sale. And, it starts with awareness, then interest and engagement, consideration, and action. Action is they're giving you money. And I think this is a pollinator first, but Canva actually hits every single piece of the marketing funnel, which is really exciting. And you can create so many different things in Canva, the lit ebooks, you can do YouTube thumbnails, you can do all kinds of obviously social media posts, you can do infographics, which they're amazing infographics. They make making an infograph so easy, and we'll talk about that. They can give you images for your email, and you can even, if you have a trade show, or if you want business cards, when we actually go back to in person, you can print things off of Canva, which is really easy and simple. I think I've printed a couple of flyers and business cards, and the quality is actually pretty decent. You would think they're not a print shop, but their quality is actually really good. And it's great because you design it right within their platform, and you're printing it within their platform. And if there's any issues, they let you know right away. So the process is so seamless. It's all in one. I think you can even print on like t-shirts and stuff too. So that's kind of exciting. And then when you start to build that interest and engagement, once you've brought that awareness in and you're bringing those potential clients into interesting engagement where you're really educating them about your brand and what you can do and your products and your services. Again, this is where Canva can come into play in all sorts of varieties. And you can pull the same sort of images and branding all the way through. And then we've got the consideration. This is with your audience's super warm leads. They're really thinking they want to work with you, all the way down again to action. They are a customer, they are a client, they have hired you, and all your work has gone, is paying off. Okay. And like I said before, and I've always said it, the funnel works together. You can't just do social media and put it out there and put it out there and expect a lot of conversions. It's social media paired with email marketing, paired with some webinars to pull them in, and infographics, and all the things that you can funnel people all the way down, building that know, like, and trust factor. That was a brief overview of the marketing funnel. There's so much to it, but I just wanted to again reiterate how important it is to have that cohesive message pulling all the way through. Okay, so let's get right into it. Oh, this is gonna be so fun. I love Canva. You can be so creative in it. It's gonna be more of an interactive webinar today versus, me kind of going through a presentation, because there's just so much to Canva that is interactive, and it's also really helpful. I don't know how you learn, but I tend to like doing as I'm seeing. So feel free to pull up, Canva yourself and have it there working together. So as I'm moving through the presentation, if you want to kind of play around as well within your own Canva, so you're getting that sort of muscle memory and you're kind of learning what I'm showing you. Maybe some of this is all you already get it. You've known this. That's super easy. That's why I'm kind of starting base level and then building up a little bit into it. So yeah, work along with me. That's totally fine. If you want to hide your camera because you're staring blankly at the screen and you don't want your camera on, that's fine too. And, let's just dive in. So I'm going to get out of this so I can get right into actually the home page. So I'm going to start with the brand kit, because this is any kind of base level, like this is where you want to start. If you haven't built a brand kit, build a brand kit. It's going to be on your home page on the left-hand side. It says brand kit. This is going to make your life so easy. There is a space to upload your logo, which is very helpful. You can add as many as you want. And, add them in, get different colors going, I've got my little sprout in different colors loaded, so they're easily accessible. And then your brand's colors. Let me pause there for a second. If you don't have brand colors or brand fonts, that's okay. I'm going to show you actually how you can create your own. You can always hire a graphic designer. I've got a few recommendations that I love, love, love. She can create logos for you, brand colors, fonts. But if you're, a one-woman show, bootstrapping it, I'm going to show you how you can create some brand colors and brand fonts in a bit. So if you do have it, or you're going to have it pretty soon, you can actually load in your brand colors. And this is so important to have these here. You can create different sections too. Let's say you have an overarching brand color, and then you have a sub brand color of, what your color palette is for your courses online, or you've got a program that you're running and those colors are a little different. You can actually add a bunch of different groupings of brand colors. I work with a bunch of clients, so I have my clients' brands in here. And you can also discover palettes down at the bottom. I'm going to click in that, and you can kind of, search through and see what feels right. You can type in different keywords that will pull up. Let's say I really like the color yellow. You can pull this up and it shows different variations. So you can pick and choose and pull together different color palettes. So more on that later. We're going to dive a little more into colors, but this is part of your brand kit. And then brand fonts. So the reason this is really important to set up your brand fonts is when you're working within Canva and you just click a heading, it's going to automatically, boom, be in your brand font. So easy. So you don't have to adjust the fonts within there. And if you have fonts that aren't just the standard fonts available, you can actually upload your own fonts, which is really helpful too. Okay, so then let me go back to my presentation, make sure I'm covering. Okay. Yeah, so let's cover the home page. What are you looking at when you've clicked into Canva and you're sitting here at your homepage? There's a lot going on. I think Canva kind of overwhelms people a little bit. I know I get a little overwhelmed too and lost in all the different options that they have available. There's the leaf blower outside, so I'm sorry if you guys can hear that and it's annoying. Okay, so create a design. This is basic. If you just are like, I don't know what's happening or what I want to do, just create a design. You can click this button right here and it gets you straight to creating a design. And you can search, let's say you need a YouTube thumbnail because you've uploaded a YouTube video, boom, right there, or just Instagram, or if you need if you're creating a Facebook event, you can create a Facebook event cover. So just start exploring all the different keywords that you can pull up. And, most of the time you're probably going to use Instagram posts. It's a standard square and it also translates across all platforms. So it's just a very easy one to start with. And you just click on that, boom, and it'll pop up. You can also customize the size. So if you're trying to create a flyer that's maybe a weird size, 7.5 by 8, you can click custom size and type in the width and the height. Super easy. Change that to inch. Then you can also, I love this feature, if you're just needing to edit a photo, let's say you have a photo that you just need to crop, you can literally click edit photo, upload the photo. It'll be the size that you want it to be or need it to be. And then you can crop it right then and there. So if it's a quick crop, if it's a quick, I need to split this photo up, or I just need to apply a filter to a photo real fast, so easy, just upload it right here. I don't know who's in beta or who's not in beta, but there's an import PDF function as well. And it works just like the photo. You just upload a PDF, and if it's a weird size, it uploads that weird size. So it's exactly what your document is, which is very helpful. Okay. Now, I want to point out real quick, the Learn. There's a ton of resources. I know it's hard sometimes to just sit down and learn about things, but they do have a lot of really cool courses. There's a design school. This is super important. If you're not a designer, I'm not a designer, I think I know what looks good, but these have been really helpful to help me pair colors together, or if I'm feeling stuck on some images, they're good to help kind of get those creative juices flowing. And they're all free. They're all there available to use. And so I highly recommend, if you have some time, to sit through and pick out some courses. And I'm sure you'll learn some little tidbits here and there. And okay, so features. Features is a space where you can actually find a bunch of different stuff. I love going through features because you can find them when you're in your design, but it's a little more limited. Whereas features are, let's say you're looking for some inspiration for some icons. You click into icons. My Canva's taking a minute. And you can discover all kinds of icons. If you're like, I need, let's say, a cookie icon. Who doesn't like cookies? You can just hit cookies and, oh my gosh, filter through everything. Now, this might feel overwhelming. It might be like, oh my God, there's way too many cookies I don't even know. So let's say you want cookies, you can use the plus if you want to narrow down your search. And I'm going to say milk. Let's do that. Okay. Now I've got like, okay, cookies and milk. Now I can kind of start to narrow down what it is I'm looking for. And I recommend utilizing this heart, because if you're filtering through and you're looking at all the cookie pictures that you're looking at and you're like, oh my gosh, this one's so cute, you can start hearting them. And I'll show you in a minute where all your hearts go, and you can separate them out in different folders and things like that. But that'll be easy. So you're not scrolling back up and like, oh, where's that icon that I found that I really liked? So you can just kind of select that you like this one or you like that one. And that'll make it easy to pull a bunch into a folder that you can work through when you're creating your design. So the features it's a really cool space to get inspiration and explore different types of icons or photos, backgrounds, all different sorts of stuff. And then the templates, this will give you an idea of all the extensive options that Canva has. There's all, Instagram stories, Instagram posts. You can go all the way down through LinkedIn. They do Twitter. They do everything. And then there's invitations, cards, resumes, postcards, and all this stuff. A lot of this stuff you can actually just print straight through Canva. And then they have business related options, marketing related. So these are just kind of categories where you can explore the subcategories in the overarching business category. Okay, so let's get into the kind of more fun stuff. Okay, I'm gonna dive right in, guys. We're just gonna do it. We're gonna create a design. Let's just do an Instagram post. I have all my notes of all the things I want to cover. So if I'm looking down, I'm sorry. I just don't want to miss anything. Okay, so this is obviously a blank Instagram. When you hit templates in any category you're in, they're going to have all kinds of different options. They usually categorize, current events that are happening or holidays, or a lot of times like they'll probably have a bunch of summer stuff. Yep, summer stuff, a little spring because we're kind of transitioning from spring into summer. So they'll do seasonality things, they'll do holiday things, and they'll do kind of social things that are going on, like Black Lives Matter. I'm kind of surprised they don't have a pride category, to be honest. But anyways, okay, so these are really wonderful because you can get so many ideas and you don't have to start from scratch, because sometimes just staring at a blank screen is way too hard. And let's just pull up, let's do this one. Now I'm going to show you, I showed the brand kit, how to put it together, and I'm going to show you why that's so important to have a brand kit. So I'm going to head to styles. So this is where your brand kit lives within the editing portion of Canva. So I'm going to hit styles. Now you can see under my brand kit, here's my fonts, here's my brand and all the other brands that I have. And these aren't my brand colors, but let's say I just want to change them to my brand colors. So I hit my brand colors and it shuffles. So it gives me ideas. I can click it again. It'll give me more ideas, another idea. So it just kind of shuffles around and you're like, oh, okay. Yeah. That looks good. Oh yeah, I like that. But let's say, I want to change this color. It still gives you the freedom to change other colors up when you select them. So you head to this color box right here and it shows you currently what you've selected. So if I selected that, it'll show black. If I've selected that, it shows yellow. Let's say I want it to be more darker yellow. So I click that, boom, done. And then here's what I love are the fonts. Look at this. I click the brand kit fonts, boom, everything just changes to my brand fonts. I don't have to click into each individual box to change the font, which by the way, if you do want to change up the font, we've got that right here. So let's say I'm like, yeah, that is my, brand font, but I want something really cool. So let's do that. And, but I love that I can just with one click have the whole document. And this is even better when you've got, let's say, an ebook you're putting together or a presentation or some kind of template you've just uploaded that's 8 pages. You don't have to go into everything to click that font. We'll just quickly, I'll touch up on here on this title bar. Let me make sure yeah. Okay, so again, this is where you can change all the fonts. You can start typing a font and find it. It's also really helpful because they show what the fonts look like. So you can kind of pick and choose what you might want to do. Again, there's another spot where you can upload a font here, or you could upload it on the home page. And then you change the size here. This is where you can change the color. The documents color, you'll always see this. It shows what all colors are within the document. So if you have photos and things like that, it'll pick that up, or images. And then all your brand fonts are here. And if you wanted to just sort of do some default colors, those are usually down at the bottom. They also offer the option to add another palette within the editing portion. So you can add it here. You can also add it on your home page. So there's several ways that Canva's laid out to get to one thing. And sometimes I think that might be a little overwhelming or confusing. Here's where you can do different alignments. Okay, so the bold and the italic is actually, there we go, whited out, because some fonts don't allow that. So just know you're usually allowed to do a bold and an italic. This is alignment, and you can do justified right, left, center, and bullet points, which are really fun. 1, 2, 3, 4, and you just click through to get to each one. This one, I love the spacing. If you aren't using it, definitely use it. It can change up it can change an image up in a lot of ways. So line spacing is the space between each line. So let's say you need a little extra space on your image, just shrink that up a little bit. And sometimes, you know, buttoning things up and tightening things up for a post can look a little bit more cohesive, and other times you just need to spread some stuff out, get a little space, a little breathing room in there. And so it allows that that option to pull or close in the space. And then lettering space is just like it says, it's opening up space between the letters. And I love this option. A lot of times for the cursive letters, they can be a little hard to read. And so I usually play with the letter spacing and the line spacing to make those either more breathable, or if it's too breathable, button those up a little bit and get them a little more easy to read. And then effects. These are, I love using these. The shadow is really great, or the lift is really great when you need to make something pop off of a colored background or an image background. So you can see you can see how a little bit more defined the text is and how it kind of pops out a little bit. It also gives it a little depth, which is really nice too. And then, you know, play around. There's all kinds, there's splice, there's echo. The neon is really fun if you've got some fun colors. And, you know, even with white, that looks a little fun too. So you can kind of play around with it, and you can always adjust the intensity. And then here's a newish thing, but they offer curved now for your text. So when you click curve, boom. So you can wrap around a certain image that you've got, or a photograph, and you can change that. What happened? There we go. You can change this up. Why does it keep wanting to do that for me? There we go. At the bottom, you can see this number here. Okay, hold on. There we go. Okay, so here's where you can change the curve. Let's say you want to make it a little less curvy, a little more just archy. I love this feature. When I discovered, I was having so much fun with it. You can even invert if you wanted to invert. So that's a really fun feature. I think it is fairly new, but it can definitely help you kind of build around different elements or different photos that you have. And I'll show you some of that in a minute here. And lastly, we have the animate button. And animate is all kinds of fun. You can click different. You can see how it kind of makes things move. Ooh, that one's fun. Tumble. Tumble's fun with the arch. And so this one's really great because it adds a bit of animation. It can make things catch people's eye. Whoop. And, you know, of course you can post this on Instagram or Facebook or anywhere, and it can add a certain like visual element. And I wanted to show you, I'm going to just keep going through this bar here so you can kind of see. This feature here, transparency, is really wonderful to use. Let me just clear this out. I'll add a page. I'll show you how useful transparency can be. So let's say you have a photo that you're using for, I don't know. I must be hungry because the food is really enticing me right now. Okay, so this looks like a brownie maybe. Okay, so I bake brownies. I'm a bakery, and I want to add some text to it. Well, if you add text, it's going to be a little hard to read over something like this. Even, you know, if you start changing the colors, it's a little difficult. So bakery, can't really read it. Head to elements. And there's all kinds of lines and shapes. We'll get into that in a minute, but I want to show you how, let's say we're going to do that color. Okay, so you add a block. Okay, well, that's not bad, you know, but the problem is it's kind of covering up my photo, and I really want to show off my brownie, so that's not really cool. That's where this feature can come in handy. There's a lot of fun handy applications for this feature. But now I'm like, okay, I still have that image. Bakery still shows up, but so does my awesome brownie photo that I've got. You can always, you know, click on, double click on the image. This is another great feature, and you can resize it up when you've double clicked on it. And if I've clicked on it, I can also make this one transparent too. So this can be a really helpful feature for a lot of different applications. Okay, so there's so much in Elements, so I'm going to just like move along. Are there any questions? First of all, am I going a little too fast? Is everyone, let me just check in. We're doing okay. Yeah, okay.
I had a question I posted in the chat. Some of the little buttons had a little crown in the bottom corner. Is that just for paid subscriptions?
Yeah, so that is the Pro. And this is where in the beginning, when I was talking about, I would find the ones with the crown and want to use them and get frustrated that I can't. And it was just, you know, they have unlocked everything, almost everything for you if you're just Pro. And I think it is just $12.99 a month. It is so worth the investment. And I think they like to still have that crown there if you're Pro, even though you can use all those ones with the crowns. Because I think they're kind of telling you, oh, look at all the features you get if you're Pro, and you are Pro. So you get to have access to the ones with the crowns. And yeah, so even with Pro, I have not run into any image or any photo or any sort of anything that I haven't been able to use yet. So they really do unlock so much in the Pro. There's still a lot you can do in the free. I went along in the free for a while there. Okay, so let me go back in and let's get a little more creative here. Okay.
Christina.
Shapes. Yes.
Sorry, can I say something?
Yeah.
Because I use Canva, and it's like I use the free version for now, and I think you can bring in your own backgrounds and design.
Right? That's so wonderful.
Like, because I'm trying to save for now. Like, I know one day I'll need it, but for now that I'm saving, I just, when I have my own logo, my own stuff, I just import it, and so I can save a little bit on that. But I think I'm gonna go Pro soon because this is awesome.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, and once you go Pro, it's hard to go back. Well, it's great that you're bringing that up. So I want to show the folders feature because that's going to help you stay organized. Okay, let me share my screen. I've never done such a heavy demo webinar before. But let me skip down to folders, because when you start liking things, for instance, all my likes, I have a few right here, but I've really tried to move them into folders. So when you click folders, I have like backgrounds that I've saved. I have some client contracts that I've just by image based drawn up. I have other client items in here, and I actually categorize. I've started to categorize images that I like as well. And then I've also dropped in folders for my stuff. Because when you're at the home screen and you're like, oh, I need to pull up that old design that I have, and you click all your designs, this just goes through everything you've ever created. So it can be very, very, very overwhelming. So by categorizing folders, you can create a whole bunch of folders. I'm like, oh, I need an image that I created for my client Hope. So now I can grab her images right through there. And the way you can do that and categorize is if you're looking at your images, click this 3 dots, and then you want to move to a folder. And for instance, this is my client Hope. So I'm just gonna move hers right into her folder. Now they're still gonna show up in all your designs because it is part of all your designs. But if you're specifically looking for that one type of design, so you can say, you know, here's my coursework designs, here's my webinar, all my webinar designs, here's, you know, however you want to categorize it. And I don't have a lot of folders here because I'm terrible at organizing, but when I do find that I need a certain image that I know I've categorized, it's so much easier, and I really need to be better at it. I need like a virtual assistant to organize all my stuff for me. I have created so many things, but it's so helpful, and I'm always thankful when I do organize my things like that. And I would imagine the free version, this would be really helpful because then you can save your logo, you can save your headshots in here, and some background colors that fit your brand. So yeah, that would be really, really helpful. Okay. Ooh, there's so much to go over. Okay. Let's head into let's do photos because Canva has so many photos. And again, if you have the free version, not all of them are unlocked, but a lot of their photos are coming from Unsplash, which is a really great free photo resource. And sometimes when I can't find a photo I want in Canva, I head over to Unsplash because they do have other different kinds of photos. You can also find more photos if you click the More button down here. Their apps and integrations are pretty great. So Pexels right here has a bunch of different photos that you can search through and find. By the way, when you click within the folder, it adds onto your menu list on this vertical bar. And if it starts to get too long, you can always just X out of those things. And then Pixabay is also another great resource for photos too. And you can get lost in all the different photo options that they have. And it's really fun to click on the photo. Let's go through the menu bar real quick and how you can edit photos, because this is really fun. So there's all kinds of effects you can do. One of the really, really cool ones is this background remover. So when you click on this, Canva takes a minute to process. Sometimes the background removal on it gets a little glitchy. And so I'll share a link with you where it's a free resource online that you can remove the background. And if a background remover isn't available on the free version, this will be a good alternative for you. Okay, so now you can see that background is totally gone. So I can move this cute little family around and I don't have to worry about the window behind them. And that took hardly any moments. You want to make sure the background and the image have a very stark contrast, because if it blends too much, you can like cut out a weird part of your head or your cheek or something. So pick a photo. Let's say you're doing one of your headshots. Pick a photo where it's going to be a contrast happening. Okay. And there's all kinds of photo overlays that they offer up. The duotone are really fun. The color mix, there's glitches. I think these work really well with some like icons and things like that. So just play around with it. They've got a lot of different apps and additions down at the bottom and integrations that you can do. And again, there's the filters. So if you want to test out the Instagram filters, they've got their versions of that here. And adjusting, if you're really into how you want the image to be, they open it up to an extensive variety of adjustments that you can do. And cropping shows you the full photo. So you can kind of crop it how you want to crop it, which is really nice if you've got a full version of a photo and you just need a little piece of it onto your Canva. And flip is just you're flipping it horizontally or vertically. That's all this is. Super, super helpful. And then of course, adding an animation would be really fun. Because again, it's eye-catching. And then, you know, let's say we want to animate the flowers as well and get a little more funness going there. You can always do that. And position, this is if, let's say I have the hearts on the top and I'm making them bigger and they're really great, but they're covering the photo too much. The position, I can move those backwards. Oh, let's click that and back. Nope, I need to go back more. Okay, there we go. So now just a little bit of it showing. You don't have to have the whole thing. And this can be really helpful too when you're trying to layer images and icons. And again, there's the transparency and things like that you can do. Okay, so that covers photos. Let's go back to elements. And a few I want to show that I think are really great is, let's see, shadows. So shadows can be really great. There's a bunch of different options, but I think this is definitely an underutilized or maybe one that isn't quite intuitive to use. I'm going to clear some of these things out and show you what this might look like. Okay, so you can use this for books, or if you want to add a certain type of 3D effect. We're going to move that backwards. Now, you see how I added the shadow at the bottom? Now it kind of looks like the photo is sort of floating, like it's almost like a screen. I love this feature. I think it's something that you can apply to a lot of different things. And it really adds this awesome 3D textured kind of effect. And so that you just type in an element shadow, it'll pop up. There's a few different ones in here that you can utilize. That's another little, a little cool feature. And gradients is a really fun tool too. There's a ton of different kinds of shapes and colors that can offer a lot of different varieties for your applications. And they also provide a lot of different really cool backgrounds. So I want to show you one thing real quick. So you can kind of, let me just add a page, that might be easier. So let's say you add this as a background. You're like, oh, that's really pretty. I love this. And then you start to add other things onto it. And the problem is, you know, you're selecting this, you're selecting that, and the background keeps getting selected. So let's say you want to lock that background down. So you select the background, you hit the lock, and now I can't reselect it. So now I can move these things around, and my background is just straight my background and it's not going anywhere. I don't have to worry about it getting moved or adjusted. And this is nice if you are building an image and you're like, okay, this little weird thing is exactly where I need it to be. So I'm just going to lock that down. And now you don't have to like worry that you're going to move it when you shouldn't be moving it. So it's a nice little feature. And I want to show you too, if you type in elements and type in frames, I love this feature. Let's add another page because it shows like, I think this is like the Windows, the Windows screen or something it looks like. But this is really awesome because the Windows feature, that scene, is the space where your photo is going to go in or your image is going to go in. So let's say I'm advertising for a webinar and I use this frame as my webinar, and my webinar is about cupcakes. I can bring in the cupcake image. Now that's not really working for me. So I double clicked that image and I moved it up. Now it's centered. And you can always add your text overlay on here and say, you know, cupcake webinar today. And I love the elements, the frames. There's so many variations. You can use a phone. It's great to pop your, you know, if you've got a background going, you can pop in your profile image, and they have just a huge amount of frames that you can use. You can get really fun with it. So you can add patterns into words and letterings, and yeah, I mean, it's endless. There's so much fun stuff. And it's great because you can drop in any image into any of those spaces. I use this one a ton. Okay. Let me continue down. I want to show you a few more of their integrations that they have that I think that's underutilized. They have an emoji integration, so you can insert emojis. That's pretty self-explanatory. But embeds, so this feature, let's say you, let me add a page. Let's say you're doing a presentation and you want to show a short YouTube clip. You can literally click YouTube, and then you're going to paste your YouTube right here, your YouTube link. And then now it's embedded within your presentation. And again, Venmo, you could do that. You can insert a song. They've got Google Maps. So maybe that's helpful for, for you during a presentation or something like that. The list is endless. Like they've got a really good chunk of embeds that they can do. You can embed an Instagram post, Facebook, Pinterest, all kinds of fun stuff. Oh, and Giphies, you know, or Jiffies. I don't know how you word that, but so that's a really cool feature that I think a lot of people don't realize is there, and it's definitely underutilized. QR codes, I know some people still use that. This is great if you are printing a flyer or something like that, but you can embed a QR code within your document, which is really fun. And yeah, just explore and click around and figure out, oh, what would work best for, you know, for you. Okay, so hopefully I'm not going too fast. Like there's so much to cover. I know it's basics, but there's so much. I'm going to go to a template and show you one last thing that I think is really fun and cool. And that is like a video, video paired with audio. And let's say here, I'll clean this up a little bit. I'm gonna put in a video, and I think I already uploaded. Yeah, I uploaded one already. So, okay. So here's a video. This is me. I recorded it today. Okay, we're not gonna listen to that in this minute. But if you want to have audio overlay on your video, which can be really nice if you are wanting to kind of talk about, I don't know, you'll see. Let me just show you the effects. Okay, there's all different kinds of audios that you can pick from. So let's just do this. It's going to show up down here at the bottom left. Your video here, if your video is too long or you wanted to cut it, you can cut it within Canva. It's so wonderful. So you can shrink it up. You can shrink it up and trim the top. You can trim the bottom. So you don't have to do that before you even drop it into Canva, which is really, really wonderful, because sometimes you might get it in here and realize, it's too long. I need to trim that up. And then the audio, here's where I went for that. Audio is right here. It also, if you haven't used it before, it's probably going to be under more for you. And so audio, you can drop this into, it doesn't have to be a video, it can be a regular post, but here's what's really cool about it. It already calculates how long my video is, and I can move this to the left or to the right and find the section that I like for my audio. And when you play it, you can hear what it's going to sound like. And I want a slow build to a higher volume. So this is a good spot for me. And sometimes the music can be a little too loud for what your video is saying. And so right here, this feature is so wonderful because you can click on it and decrease the volume of the music. And so now you can do like a little intro video to your company, a little intro video into, you know, a course that you're doing or a program that you're launching, and having that audio overlay just can really set the tone for a nice little experience. And right here, if you hit this button up here, it should play. Oh, it's because I've got all kinds of other stuff happening, so it's not playing. I was like, why is it showing a Valentine's Day? Here we go. So now you can play and you can hear the music. Okay. So is that all making sense? I want to allow some time for questions. There's so much Canva can do, and I was trying to hit everything that I could hit. But is there any clarifying or confusing things that I covered, or any questions that you guys have?
Christina, I couldn't hear that. So what?
Oh, I bet it's in my earplugs.
Yeah, probably. Okay.
Yeah, I was hearing it only in my earplugs, so I was thinking maybe it wasn't going.
So the audio, when you do the audio, it's the background music. Is that what you're saying? Okay.
Yeah, and it'll cover your whole video or your whole post as well. So yeah, it's a really, really cool feature that I think a lot of people don't use. You know, it's definitely underutilized.
Cool.
Yeah.
Wow. I need to set aside a whole bunch of time to practice all this stuff, because I won't use it if I don't get in there and really
I know.
It out.
Yeah, it's fun just to experiment and kind of move through, and, you know, start with the templates and then build on that for sure. That's how I always do it, and make it my own. There's a lot to it, but it is kind of fun to play around and be creative. So if you're in that creative zone, it's a really cool thing to dive into and start making stuff.
This is
and yeah. One other thing I want to show everyone, let me get back into this. I almost need to do like a part 2 of this, I feel like. One thing that's really great is the resizing feature, which I'm sure a lot of you are familiar with, but I want to quickly show how that might look. So let's say I've launched a new program or a new promotion that I'm doing. So let's do a background image of here. I'm a gardener, and it's a this is my image. Okay. And then I'm talking about some, you know, new webinar on gardening 101. And I want to add in a little shape there so you can like see my text. There we go. And boom. Okay, here's my little webinar shape. I just built it in Instagram, but I need to resize it, right? I need this for, I'm going to post it on Facebook in an event. I need to post it as a Instagram story. I need to post it as a Twitter post, all that fun stuff. So you're going to hit the resize button, and I want Instagram. I want it as an Instagram story. So I'm going to hit story. You're going to check mark this. I'm going to keep typing. I want a Facebook event cover. And I also need it as a Twitter post. So you can see down here, it says copy resize and it has 3. So that means I have added 3 other resizes. So I'm going to click copy and resize, and it's just going to automatically create those for me. Super easy. So I have the Instagram post already created. Sometimes you need to readjust where things are because it doesn't quite translate, but here's my Instagram story. And then here is my Facebook event cover, and Twitter will be next. So this is a quick, easy way. If you've created one image for your event that you're doing or one image for your program that you're launching, you can resize. And then now I just go down the line and I need to maybe readjust a little on, you know, what everything looks like. Let's increase that size, this and that. I spelled gardening wrong. Make sure you proofread. And that can save you a lot of time. And instead of going through and readjusting one thing at a time, you can do 5 all at once and then just retouch each one real quick.
And I'm pretty sure that the resizing is a pro feature.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Because I had the free feature and I don't think it allowed me to do that.
Yeah. Another reason why pro is really great. Yeah, I think that might have been the tipping point for me, is when I couldn't resize when I needed to. And I'm like, fine, take my $12.99. Oh gosh. Anywho. So yeah, that was a lot of download. I hope I didn't overwhelm everyone too much. We've got, I do want to mention that last time I mentioned I was about to launch the group program. I have now launched the group program and it's up and running, and enrollment is whenever you want to pop in. It is a group marketing program. It's 6 months. And I'm actually going to also drop in an event I have on the 22nd, and it is a webinar. It's called Marketing with Heart, Soul, and Profit. So we cover social media postings, how to find the right platform for you to be on and how to talk to people. We cover email marketing and a couple of strategies on how to run that. We cover online reputation management. So that's testimonials, how to leverage those, and also how to respond to reviews, either positive or negative. And then we cover website design. So I talk about I give you actual framework, an image of a framework of a landing page. And then we talk about content and what to include and how to prioritize your website, you know, the hierarchy of what to put on your website. And it's going to be super packed full of some really good overarching marketing tips. And I'm really excited about it. And I'll drop that link. It's free. I'll drop that link right there in the chat if you guys haven't signed up already. And there will be room for questions at the end. I promise. I know I didn't leave too much room on this on this pollinator for questions, but email me if you get stuck, or DM me on Instagram and let me know if, you know, you're trying to figure some stuff out and you can't figure it out. I'm happy to help. I'll drop my Instagram handle into the chat. But any other last minute? Oh wait, that's my podcast. Yeah, go ahead, Erin.
Hi. So I love how you can embed the YouTube and, oh my God, I sound like an idiot, but because you can't really put YouTube videos into Instagram, but if I create something through Canva, I could post that on Instagram and then my YouTube video would play.
I've actually only done the embedding through presentations, but that's a really good question. I've never had a need to do that, but you could pull a clip off of YouTube. If it doesn't work, you could pull the clip into the Instagram post and use that as the video, which I have done. Like the raw video, if you have access to the raw video, you could pull that into Canva.
Okay.
Drop it into an image.
Great. But if I don't have the raw video, you're not sure about that.
I'm not sure. I've never actually tried that. I've always had the raw footage, but it's worth giving it a shot. Honestly, I don't see why it wouldn't work? Now I'm very curious. Now I want to try it.
So I just go into embed and media. I'll DM you.
Yeah.
I'm gonna
Yeah,
try
it's
it.
just embed. It's just
Okay.
embed, and you'll see YouTube on there, and you literally click it and insert the YouTube link.
Okay.
Mhm.
Awesome. Thanks.
Oh, Sarah said she thinks it would work. Yeah. I don't see why it wouldn't work. I've never actually tried it that way, but I don't see why it wouldn't work. I love that. Cool. Good question. Loving it. Anything else, you guys? This was a lot. It's a lot to cover. I feel kind of winded. Oh, bye, Mary. Thank you. All right. Well, if that's it, you guys, we can
That was
finish.
super helpful. I really appreciate it.
Oh yeah, no problem. Good. I'm glad. I almost feel like a part 2 needs to happen now because there's so much more. Yeah, Sarah's like, yeah, there is so much more to cover. So maybe I'll do that. But again, if you have any ideas or any subjects you want me to cover in the pollinators, I usually resource what I'm getting from the community and use those as pollinator subjects. So if there's a certain thing that you need to know or want to know, throw them at me. Because that I want to teach what you guys want to learn. I don't want to feed you things that don't matter to you. So let me know if there is a certain subject that you want me to cover. And yeah, I'll do that. Cool. Whew, this is fun.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. All right, you guys have a good rest of your Thursday, and get in touch with me if you feel like you hit a block with Canva, and let's, unblock you because it's such a good tool. Such a good tool.
Thank you so much. Have a great day.
Thanks, guys. Thanks. Bye, y'all.
Bye.